It is Wednesday.
Yeah.
It's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday.
September 14th. Time for another episode of the 359 podcast with Roger Cheng, Ben Fox-Rubin, and special guest, Mr. Scott Stein.
I like your music on the show. It's good music.
Happy Wednesday, everyone. Happy Hump
Thanks.
Day.
Yeah.
We're almost through.
Don't say that.
Can we not? We're not allowed to say that?
No,
Am I going to get a note?
moratorium on that.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're
yeah.
going to give you notes later.
It's been one hell of a hump day.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there we go. So we've got Scott Stein, so we want to take advantage of his expertise on the Apple Watch Series
You mock
2.
me, yes.
No, I'm not mocking
Go ahead. No, let's dive in,
No,
so to speak.
We're
Water.
going to do a little bit of an intro. We're going to go into the podcast where we talk about the watch, and then afterwards we're going to take questions from viewers. So if you have
Nice.
any questions, leave them in the comments section. Our producer Brian will pick out the best ones, and Scott will answer all of them.
And we're going to do basically an
wearing
all
it for a while.
smartwatch.
It'll
Yeah,
be
we're
all
going to do a
smartwatch.
smartwatch podcast today.
We're going to be talking about Scott's Apple Watch Series 2 review. We're also going to be talking about a story that I wrote looking at the dearth of Android Wear
Dearth.
watches. There aren't any.
Dearth Android.
Look at you. Dearth Android.
Yeah,
Dearth
using my
Android Wear.
SAT.
Essay.
Well,
Where have
SAT.
they all gone? Where have the
Where-
Android watches gone?
Exactly.
Wow.
We're gonna,
all right.
we're gonna talk about
let's,
that.
Let's save all this energy for the podcast,
So-
guys.
Listen,
Upbeat.
so if you have any questions or want to know what the hell happened to the Moto 360, the Huawei watch, or the LG Urbane, whatever, leave them in the comment section. We'll get to them.
Urbane LTE.
Urbane LTE second edition.
Right. Second edition.
Oh,
plus.
God.
leave them in the
This
comment
is
section.
way out of my league
We,
right now.
we will answer these questions after the podcast. So, Brian, whenever you're ready,
Okay.
we'll get rolling.
Let's start recording in 3, 2.
Welcome to the 359, where we talk about the top tech news of the day and all the other crap you want to throw in. I'm Roger Chang,
I'm Ben Fox-Rubin.
and with us is special guest Scott Stein.
Hi.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here. And let the mocking begin.
So
Okay,
Scott is
whatever
here.
more.
Scott is here specifically to talk about the review of the Apple Watch Series 2.
Which is
Yes.
out today.
It just came out today. The
But
review
it didn't
came out
come
today.
out today.
The
The review
review
It's
came out
available
today.
on Friday.
Right.
On
So
September 16th.
Scott, what did you think?
So I liked it, and it is definitely better. However, if you have an Apple Watch original, just update the software.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, "Do you get the new one?" No, unless you are desperate to swim with one, like really swim with one, or you are a GPS person.
I might actually
meaning a
take up
runner.
swimming just because of the Apple Watch Series.
Because it says you can now.
Yes. Yes.
And there are swimming wearables already, but there aren't that many of them. And we actually need to do a lot more swim tracking. One thing, I am not a gym person. I try, I fail. But also we were doing like 4 products in a week. So we're going to be doing a lot more of that testing. CNET's going to do a lot more of that testing running.
But bottom line,
In water, it's fine.
bottom line though, is this a watch for someone who's not an Apple Watch owner now? Like, is this a watch worthy of an investment?
It's a lot of money. That's the thing. But if you were looking for, I think it's the best smartwatch right now.
Let's talk about dollars and cents. What's the cheapest price I can get this thing for?
$369 for the 38 millimeter. It's a lot of money. $400 for the one that's the size that I would want to wear, which is the 42 millimeter. Then you're going to go to Stupid Town with all the different
The
prices.
ceramic one, right? That
Oh my
replaced
God,
at least
that's
it's
more than
$1,200.
at least there's no $17,000 gold edition anymore.
They
I was
backed
going to
off
buy that one.
You're
Yeah.
all set. You're all set. I do not like any of the high-priced smartwatches. You know, I understand the idea, I guess, but I mean, they're collector's item weirdnesses. I would go for the affordable thing, especially if you're using this for sports stuff. You get the aluminum. That's a lot of money.
Right.
Other than the swim proofing, what other killer features are we getting with this new watch?
Right. So it's really a sport edition thing. You're talking about like the swim proofing, which is just generally good for water resistance in electronics. I like that trend. GPS, which is on a ton of fitness trackers already, but a lot of smartwatches, Android Wear have been starting to include it. Apple integrates it, although we haven't seen it in all the apps. And then it's a brighter display, so you can see it better in broad daylight. It's faster too. So what that means between that and the watchOS 3 is the thing was so slow last year.
right.
And now it's doing a lot better job handling everything, including Siri. The apps, though, have not all been updated, take advantage. So we have to kind of see how it's really going to perform. But it just feels like it's working better.
So shifting gears.
Wait, before we do that,
All right.
can
But
we
do you
listen
need
to
a
the
smartwatch?
fun
Oh
little
yes,
noise?
sorry, we do need to listen to the coolest
And then it
feature.
does this.
That's
That's
it
the sound of an
expelling
Apple
water.
Watch expelling water.
That's so fun.
If you happen to swim with it, I don't think you have to do that, but it clears out the speaker. Totally weird. It's
Right.
your jacket is now dry.
Nice.
That's what it
Nice
sounds
back to the
like.
future
Very
reference.
nice.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, so shifting gears, I wrote a piece looking at sort of the lack of Android Wear watch updates coming for this holiday season. The notable names: LG, Motorola, Huawei.
Right.
Don't have any new watches for the holiday season. Asus does, but no one cares about Asus.
Ooh, Asus
Some
Slam.
people do because it's cheap.
But
If
no,
the hardcore watch people
I look at the
are
thing-
like,
the thing of it
Viva
is-
la cheap smartwatch.
The thing of it is, it's a broader issue for me. Like, do people even care about smartwatches, Apple Watch included? Like, that's that's a bigger question.
Okay, outside of the Apple Watch, I would say no, they don't care about smartwatches, but they still care about what Apple is doing with its watch. I would say that's a little different.
And I've seen two different camps on it. I've seen people who say, Scott, I've taken off my Apple Watch. I am perfectly fine. I'm never wearing that thing again. And other people are like, no, Scott, I wear this thing all the time. I really like it. It's great. And I'm like, I bring up something I have an issue with, and they're like, no, it's great. And so it depends on how people adapt to it. Battery life still, to me, is a big issue.
Yeah. So I talked
But
to
that's true
I
across
talked
the
to a
board.
bunch of the companies, and I think they acknowledge some of those issues: battery life, the size, just getting these components down to a size that actually is more manageable for a lot of people. Look at the Samsung Galaxy or the Gear S3; it's massive.
Yeah.
So it's still an issue. I think smartwatches definitely have a long way to go.
Bring it home, baby.
For more about all this Apple Watch Series 2 smartwatches, check us out on CNET. I'm Roger Chang.
I'm Ben Fox Rubin.
I'm Scott Stein.
Thanks for listening.
And let's delve into the comments.
All right.
Wow, so fast.
Yeah,
I know, it really, and that
to
was
go.
long.
Yeah,
that ran a little long too. Yeah.
It's okay.
Man.
They'll forgive
It's
us.
okay.
It's a good show. So first of all, could you run the audience through what different water tests you put the watch through? Because they're saying like how waterproof is waterproof.
It's
Like,
not
Right.
waterproof, by the way.
Right.
Water resistant.
yeah, okay, so there's the
Right,
first
water
point.
resistant. So we actually are going to be doing a lot more water tests. During the time that I used it for, nothing like the 50-meter stuff that, we're eventually going to have to, look at pressure and all those things. But, I kept it in, water to sink for a while. Like, again, it was like something more like 15, 20 minutes. I showered with it. And like, just wore it as I would normally wear it. Now, swimming, we still need to do. And that was what I was mentioning, is we need to do swim tests. We need to do all that. So stay tuned. And also about how it does swim accuracy for fitness tracking, because they claim the algorithms on that are really good for calories. We were in a super short time frame for this. I think it was about 2 days less than the normal review time frame
Yeah.
that we would get for 4 products. So it was kind of like, we're putting this out, but we're also going to be updating it. Most importantly, we have not looked at Apple Watch Series 1 at all. And I feel like that's going to be the one that people are going to want to get if they get one, because you give up the swim tracking, but it's probably going to perform similarly. So stay tuned for that. And also, we want to see how the original Apple Watch handles watchOS 3.
Hold it,
Yeah.
Series 1 is a new product? It's
Yeah.
not just the last year's model?
No, they upgraded the processor in there to what they say is the same processor that's in the Series 2.
But it lacks GPS and swim resistance.
Lacks GPS. But it's a little weird because and I didn't get confirmation from Apple yet, but if you look on the specs page, it's like, it says S2 chip for Series 2, S1P for Series 1. And I'm thinking, what? And there's no benchmark. You're not going to run like a
Right.
Geekbench for Apple Watch. So I don't.
S1P Fusion.
Right. So I don't know what that means. They still claim up to 50% faster. And then watchOS 3 is already making things faster because it loads stuff in the background.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
how that's what it means by fast. It's not really like starting an app from scratch will still cause the churn wheel a little bit, but it front loads all the apps that are in your dock to always be available.
Okay.
Caches them.
Okay.
All right. What
That's a
else we
long
got?
answer. Sorry, that's for the 859.
No,
podcast.
that's helpful.
That's fine.
859. How fragile is ceramic? Is it as fragile as the jet black?
No, so the Apple boasts that ceramic is 4 times stronger than steel, et cetera, et cetera. It
Right.
doesn't explain how necessarily scratch resistant it is. But ceramic is super tough. They said they talk about this whole like bonding process with the powder or whatever, the aluminum, whatever they put in there for that ceramic material. So, I mean, for the price you're paying, the jet black is the same cost as a regular iPhone. That's just a new anodizing aluminum process.
Right.
They like kind of tried to make it look lacquered. The ceramic is a much tougher material, so it should be fine. However, I can't say how it scratches or even how it lasts because we haven't worn one.
Yeah, one of the points we brought up the Apple Watch earlier, the whole swim resistance thing, and a lot of our commenters mentioned they didn't really want to go swimming with it, not because of the water, but they were afraid they were going to like knock it against the pool or scratch
mess
it.
it
Is
up
that
somehow.
Well, that's a
mess
good
it up
point.
somehow? Is that? I mean, do you think that's a valid risk?
That's still a valid risk, but it's a valid risk when you wear the watch around. Like I keep knocking mine into doorknobs and stuff. You know, like when I
Ooh.
like, well, I don't know, all my doorknob impacts.
Your doorknobs are actually all gigantic.
Yeah,
at home,
I have a
right?
house filled with doorknobs. We're just clearly the wall is. I scratch against walls and railings, and so it's what is it? There Ion X, which is like a Gorilla Glass variant for the front. You get the sapphire crystal still on the steel and the ceramic variants, which is more scratch resistant because people have talked about the fact that there are scratches that do pop up on the Sport Series watches.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of any shattering, but as opposed to I don't know, for some reason I feel like there haven't been many like shattered Apple Watch images.
So that's interesting. That might
seen.
mean that the newest Apple Watch still doesn't have Corning's newest glass, which is the SR3, and that was in
the Gear S3.
the Gear S3, and that's supposed to be SR means scratch resistant. So
yeah, Apple made no further claims or boasts, and so that leads me to think that it's the same. I feel like any iteration on design that Apple does, you would hear about it. They love to talk about every single beneficial iteration
in a 10-point PowerPoint
to the micromillimeter, focus. So
yeah.
We can confirm with that, but it still says Ion X glass is the wording. I would expect it's still going to scratch against, like if you have like that's a thought in a pool.
which is also, by the way, not to geek out too much on Corning, but we also don't know if the new iPhones have the newest form of Gorilla Glass, which is Gorilla Glass 5. The important thing to know about that is that you could drop it from a higher height, from like quote unquote selfie height, and then it's less likely to shatter. So that would be helpful
but they
if we
have
knew that.
stopped talking about Corning. Like they haven't talked.
They haven't talked about it. No,
for a long time.
I guess it would give me a little bit more peace of mind if I knew that, but they don't.
You're not getting a new phone anyway, so it doesn't matter.
All right, fine.
Yeah, I feel like they're making their
Just throw
own
me under the
variation
bus.
or their own supply of whatever the glass is, and they are doing what they're doing.
You mean for the watch?
For all of them, yeah. Where it's they kind of they start talking about Gorilla Glass. They're however sourcing it, but it's like not coming in the same channel. It's like I don't know the answer to it, but it is interesting. And I talked about that is a concern for me with iPhone is it survives. I've said this all along. Sure, it survives a drop in a puddle, but would it survive the impact with the under the puddle?
Yeah.
You could have a shattered wet phone.
Ooh.
So I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how many variations on that. Again, we have not done drop testing on these yet. No one I know has, but we will, I'm sure, start to explore that once we have a large supply of iPhones.
I am personally... Oh, my microphone's acting up. I apologize for that. I am personally more concerned about your walk if you're bumping into so many things in life. Are you okay?
Oh, my general doorknob or impact? I'm very clumsy.
It's just doorknobs. People just throw
actually
doorknobs
good.
at you.
That's
actually.
good
That's
for
the
a
point.
reviewer. That way you can torture
I'm
test these
concerned about it
things.
too. I stumble a lot. I scuff against things. The hardest thing about looking at these watches, and I come across this in fitness trackers, is just the natural thing is like, I'm not a gym person. So then, hey, why am I looking at a fitness tracker? Well, it's funny because we have Dan Graziano here is a super runner. I came upon this looking at wearable tech. But now, like you say, the industry is all about fitness.
Yep.
But then there are the fitness aspirational people. We all want to try to... So I think for the average person who doesn't understand how to get on board this, like myself, and I still look at
I'm
these
a guy
things,
like me.
Yeah, and I try to get fit. I mean, I'm not ignoring it. I'm not eating like awful things. I am actually trying, but it's hard, right? And I'm also switching. I'm switching systems all the time, which you're not supposed to do.
Right.
But I just giving you an inside look at this. Like I'm always trying to think about how these are doing a better job at motivating me, and then someone like Dan is looking at, I've got a regimen I like. How do these work for my pretty serious regimen? And I feel like those both ends are equally important. Apple's now making claims at the harder end.
Yes.
And so it's creating this aspirational lifestyle where you're like, it's almost like Nike. It's like, I'm going to be the swimmer. I'm going to be the basketball athlete. I'm going to be the triathlon person. And when I met with them, I was like, they're like, you ready for all? I was like, we're almost ready to cry.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm sure I'll do all those things. I'm going to be so fit with this. And then,
Brian, are there any other
know.
questions from our commenters?
big confession.
Not right now. Man, my microphone is shot today. Sorry for everyone listening. If you do have questions or comments, especially for Scott, who we've got here for a limited time only.
Limited time only, I'm a McRib.
We have the expert, the guy who spent a very intimate week with the iPhone 7, and an even more intimate week with the iWatch or
Apple
Apple
Watch.
Watch.
You
Sorry.
can call it the
Somebody
iWatch.
said, what other
And then a really
what other things do you have in you? Like what other secret products?
and
I was
then like a really bad blind date with the AirPods.
The
And a blind
Apple
date.
Yeah,
Pancreas.
yeah.
The AirPods
Which
are the
made you
meme.
famous, though.
That
You're-
burst
you're
out.
famous.
Yeah, that was like in the middle of the NDA review,
I
and so
know.
like I became a meme, and I was like, oh, I was like,
Yeah.
oh crap,
And you can't really
And-
do anything or say anything either, right? Because you're sort of
No.
under the NDA.
and I was like, well, there it goes, and then everyone was like, Scott, go on Reddit and let's talk to people,
Right.
And I was like, no, let's not do that. I didn't want to go. The reason I didn't want to go on Reddit is because AMA, you should be able to talk about everything, and if
Right.
they're like,
That is
awesome,
what
do you-
an AMA is.
Yeah, ask me anything. Oh, cool. Do you have them on you? Okay, let's not
can't-
make this
can't
AMA.
really
Let's
talk
change it
about-
back to
yeah,
ask me
Maybe
only
now
some.
well,
later.
you should
Yes,
do one
I do
now.
want to hop on Reddit for
Yep.
the 2 people left that care. They're like, Scott, it's all over.
No, people still care about how ugly the AirPods are.
Yeah.
It's fine. That's
Scott,
They were
the
making
thing.
fun of you on CNBC already.
I know.
This week.
No, it's like a deep lingering thing. So I've been scobalized with the AirPods.
There you go.
So I
At least you weren't in a shower when that happened, so
that's the thing.
that's a big plus.
Well, I started to think about Siri in the shower with Apple Watch, and then I thought
Yeah.
that will be a Scobel moment.
Oh yeah.
Enjoying Siri in the shower. Because actually, that's a great thing is
What?
Siri.
Siri like telling you, don't
Well,
forget
okay.
to soap your bag.
Let's make one little. This
Is
sounds
that
like
what
a-
you're suggesting?
no. Scott, how's it going down there?
Oh no.
So I don't know. So no relation to anything. So I was just saying that when you use these things in showers, we talk about water, and people have to understand. First of all, very important. iPhone is a different water resistance. It is not rated for swimming. Don't
Yeah.
swim with that thing.
Where would you put
Yeah,
it?
how would you swim with
That's
an iPhone?
just if somebody
You
accidentally
put it in your
You'd
belt.
like-
you clip it on your
Oh,
speedo.
right.
Yeah, you'd like
You
duct
clip it on
tape
your-
it to your front of your chest or something.
pool movie night. Everybody, let's go in the pool and let's watch Gangs of New York. So but the point being, I don't know. So like if you do that, water in capacitive displays is like skitter dance madness. Like everything
yeah.
starts like dancing, opening, some weird like magnifying thing popped up because it all treats it like touch. The Apple Watch during the swim modes shuts down the display.
That makes sense.
So,
Yeah.
and that's fine. You use the crown to interact. But that's why what I was going to say is that people talking about checking your email in the shower. I'm like, okay, no. But you could actually talk to Siri in the shower. So like with Apple Watch, what's cool is if you might want to do that, be like, if you're in the shower and you're just like thinking about something. There's like a
That's
lot
where I
of
get
insight.
all my best ideas.
Yeah.
Come on.
You could potentially like set an appointment or like check your day, or if like somebody's calling, you could like answer the call. Sorry, I'm in the shower.
It sounds like a
Hey!
What is wrong with me?
I hate technology.
Stop listening to me.
Technology is awful.
And
Oh
Let's
my
cut
god,
that
I
off.
cannot wait for the day
Let's
when I call you up, you're like, hey Roger, I'm in the shower. No. No need to hang up. It's okay. We can do this conversation
Grandma,
now.
let's keep talking.
Let's do
so,
it now.
No, I feel like, but I'm just saying you could operate your Apple Watch that way, or you could like set it to music. If you had it connected to Bluetooth speakers, you could change the music and listen to the show, blah, blah, blah.
All right.
So
Brian,
don't get the
you
phone.
have a question?
Sounds like a horrible idea.
I'm just saying.
We do have some questions. What is the nanometer of the A10 Fusion and
What?
Oh,
the
God.
chip
Oh,
nanometer.
the chip.
You know what? I don't think, was that ever disclosed?
They
I
never
don't think
talk
they
about
disclosed
that.
it.
You're talking about chip architecture?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes. So they're
Apple
asking
does
whether
not
it's
talk about-
14 nanometer or 20
that is
nanometer.
I wouldn't even want to guess. I'm assuming it's similar to whatever the Samsung one is at this point. Samsung is at.
I haven't been covering chip technology for a while, so I think 14 nanometer is the latest one.
Yeah,
so
that
maybe
sounds
it's
about
that.
right, but
we don't know.
Look, it doesn't make a difference. Let's
We
be
don't-
honest.
faster.
We don't
it's
know.
faster. It's smaller. Whatever.
It's a black box as far as what that stuff is. But actually,
and Apple keeps things pretty. They're pretty cagey.
They don't talk
that.
about.
Yeah.
I'm more
Yeah.
curious about how the cores work and what's going on with those cores because they have the 2 high power and the 2 low power, and they automatically.
They're like behind Android. Android's all they're
That's the
octa-core,
thing.
man. They got 8 cores.
Octo.
That's the thing. A lot of
Yeah,
people are saying
everything-
like
everything's-
Android already
every
does that.
Android
More
phone
cores
has-
is usually better, sure.
More is always better. Okay.
Well, that's the problem though. Is discerning what that means in Apple speak and what's going on in their phone and their software is really hard to understand.
Right.
Because they don't like a lot of things. They just go, it just works, and you're like, well, when does it work and when does it not work and what's going on? They're like,
Don't worry
It
about it.
works in a way that you don't have to worry
Yeah,
about.
right.
So we're trying to actually observe that.
While we're at it, you talked about the AirPods, but you tried the Lightning cable headphones too. What is your response to those?
I mean, to the actual headphones, they're fine. To the idea of removing a headphone jack, it bothers me a lot. It bothers me so much that we lowered the rating a little, and because other than that, the phones are better. Because yes, that's the whole thing. This is a port. I get it. We may move to a wireless future, but there are a couple of problems, and I've been reading a lot of stories on it, been thinking about it. One is obviously that this has been around for a long time, and you don't need to adopt the future yet, but you're being forced to. 12-inch MacBook, USB-C, you didn't have to buy that MacBook. They made it an additional product to the line. This is the main event.
Right.
So now what are you going to do? The second thing is you have all these proprietary formats. So it's like, is it as simple as Bluetooth, or Apple's going to try to lock down things with the W1 chip into a different direction? Or like, I don't know, everyone was in agreement on one thing, and now, or you already have this between Lightning and USB-C.
So, by the way, theoretical question. If Apple had just switched to USB-C, would people be as mad?
Probably not. Probably not, because actually it would be a great acknowledgement of, hey, we're all in one world together. We're all doing this. Especially for charging, it would open up a whole new world.
Absolutely.
Apple's not interested in playing that game.
No, they're not.
They just don't want
Some
to.
people are like, oh, blah, blah, blah. I've heard a lot of, not blah, 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 but I've heard some reports, again, I don't know about this, but like some people have said that USB-C on some things is not working that well, that there's a lot of different variants. There's a lot of issues
there are definitely different variants. The vendors have...
a lot of concerns about intercompatibility with accessories.
Exactly. The vendors have options in terms of how many features they want to tack onto USB-C. So, there's definitely it's very disparate.
But as a regular consumer, I say blah 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 because you know what, blah blah blah. Apple put a blah blah blah. They put a USB-C port on their MacBook, so it's like, well, you did that,
right?
Why couldn't it be on an iPhone?
Yeah,
that's the I'm not an engineer side of things where you go, well, you know what, of course you could. And yeah, that's the thing is you're just left without one. So that's my problem with it. You got the dongle. Someone's going to forget the dongle, or you'll end up now. But 6 months to a year down the line, I'm sure you're going to be able to pick up those dongles at Duane Reade and everywhere else, or they'll give them out with headphones because Apple is a big force in the industry, and that happens. But it doesn't remove the fact that it's going to be
annoying.
An issue.
It's going to be a pain for a while.
That sounds like a pain.
And also, I've been sort of recommending. I think a 6S Plus is which costs less is probably a fine direction. Also, always update your phone to the new OS to see
unless
how it feels.
Unless it's on day one.
Yeah,
that's not a good idea.
Always wait, then update.
Yeah.
But then try it before you upgrade your phone because you might be perfectly fine with the update and what it did for you. And you might be like, this is awesome. Like, I don't need a new phone.
Brian, we may have known a few people who got bricked yesterday.
Oh, yeah. So, Brian, we have one last question.
First of all, I want to make a comment that I'm waiting for artisanal dongles. Decorative dongles.
Yeah.
That is going to be a new market.
That sounds really nice.
Oh, my God.
I can already
Let's
see
open an
the
Etsy
Indiegogo
store.
for this already. Go on.
Second of all, when is Sierra coming?
Oh, I don't know.
Who knows?
Adamant questions in the comments. People want to know when Sierra's coming.
Soon. We were hoping it would come.
Yeah, we thought it was going to come
now.
with iOS 10, but
Right. I think everyone kind of speculated that. I think we're all kind of surprised that
But
it just
Apple
didn't.
always-
It might
but
come
we
with-
haven't given us any indication.
it might come with the new MacBook, right?
Yeah, I was going
Once
to
the new
say,
MacBook Pro-
which
would have always
maybe
expected
expected in
which
October.
Is, still
Yeah.
speculative.
Yeah, let's expect an October event.
Yeah.
And maybe I don't have to go out to that one. But we'll see.
We'll see.
I'd start packing.
Yeah, that's what Shara was saying. Start packing. I was like, no.
Oh, she just wants to hang out with you more.
She
You should
does.
take it as a
Well,
compliment.
there are several things we haven't heard about from Apple. A couple other shoes dropping. Obviously, MacBooks. The other thing is smart home. Because now the question is it just like they're just going to keep doing it and that's it? But they had a big, they invited a lot of us to come check out some stuff and talk about smart home before the iPhone event. And it's a big war that's being battled. That's our Kentucky team does that.
Yep.
But between what's in home and other things, and I keep thinking about that W1 chip, which allows things to pair, I'm like, do they have another announcement coming in that territory? I have a feeling there's going to be something related to that by the end of the year. Or maybe not, but I just think...
Related to HomeKit, they've really been, in my view, very much an also-ran compared to the Echo and Alexa. at this
Definitely.
point. So
they're either going to come out with a Siri-type Alexa thing... Echo
which
thing.
is rumored at this point. Yeah.
And seems easy to do. I mean, I imagine how...
And it would sort of be a no-brainer for people to pick up.
That's the thing I would imagine.
Unless it's like $300, which is sort of the Apple way.
Sure.
When Amazon's selling, now a $50,
yeah.
version. So
Maybe
We'll
it'll be
see.
something that also acts as a sound bar to your Apple TV.
So we got to wrap things up here.
Yeah, we're running way over today.
We're running long. But great questions, great comments. Thanks,
Very
Scott.
broad Apple
Yeah.
discussion. So
Yeah,
thanks
if
for
you
coming
liked
by,
anything
Scott.
you saw or heard here, check us out on CNET.com. Otherwise, our podcast is available on iTunes, Google Play Music, SoundCloud, FeedBurner, and TuneIn. See y'all tomorrow.